Check my box, something like that. Hey, everybody, we're back with the author of the new novel, FDR Drive, former director of the FBI, James Comey. Okay, last time you were on the show, you said participants in the January 6th riot and insurrection should be, quote, brought to justice and punished severely. Since then, the president took a slightly different tack. He pardoned all of them without differentiating what their crimes had been. Don't listen to them, make your own decision. Was that a good decision or a bad decision by the president of the United States?
It was an obscenity that will stain this country forever.
How do you... So what is that stain? It's not just these people got away with it, but what does it say to any future political violence that is done on behalf of an administration that doesn't want to leave?
Yeah, it sends terrible messages in that direction, right? It totally undercuts the deterrent effect of the prosecutions. It sends a terrible message to people who might investigate crimes like that, right? You are not going to get ahead in the FBI by working stuff like that, given what you saw happen with the pardons. And so it's awful on multiple dimensions.
It also makes it sort of like a de facto militia that is grateful and beholden to the president of the United States.
Absolutely, another awful consequence of this. That's why I use the term obscenity.
Kash Patel, who is the present director of the FBI, and none of his family are here, evidently. Kash Patel says he wants to, see if I got this right, he wants to live part-time in Vegas and work remotely, far away from FBI headquarters in Washington. In your experience, just from your experience, does director of the FBI feel like a part-time job? Would it benefit from remote work? When you're close to the slots, the loosest slots in town, and the leggy showgirls?
It's not that kind of job, but in his case, I'm actually cool with that. Spend all the time with
Just while I got you, and I'm not trying to set yourself up for a self-compliment here, what do you think that the director of the FBI should be like? What are the qualities that make a good FBI director?
It has to be someone who is committed to protecting the reality and the perception that justice is just, that's an institution that stands outside of anything that smacks of fear or favor. That has to be your passion. Integrity is everything in that organization.
The FBI hasn't always... You know, do you think the FBI will recover from this moment?
I do.
Okay, they've had problems in the past. They have stains on their record. They always haven't been the heroes of their own story. I mean, they spied on MLK.
Yep.
They spied on Hemingway. You know, what changed the FBI into something that you think is not the equivalent of Hoover's semi-secret police? Why did that change originally? Because Hoover was not necessarily the hero of the FBI story.
Right, because all of that was exposed around the time of Watergate, and hard lessons were learned. And among the changes that were made is directors' terms were set at 10 years. Oversight of all different kinds was pressed on the agency to offer transparency and deterrence. We hired different kinds of people. Lots of things were done for 50 years to make the FBI different, which is why today is so worrisome.
Let's get to the book here. As I said before, it's a crime novel, FDR Drive. It's your third book in a series of legal thrillers. What's it about? Is it a whodunit?
No. It's a story that I wrote last year, not knowing what America would be like in May of this year, about a right-wing podcaster who's inspiring his followers to engage in acts of violence against disaffected groups and their representatives. And it's about my protagonist, Nora Carlton, trying to figure out, so when does speech become crime, and how do I stop innocent people from being murdered and beaten because this guy is exhorting people to go after these kind of folks? And so you know who the bad guy is, and the question is, can we get the bad guy and stop him? And then there's other twists I don't want to give away, but it's a legal thriller and a sort of police procedural.
I understand your wife, Patrice, helps you write these.
Yes, we start, we're old people, so we watch Birds now. We start watching Birds.
Literal birds, not a show called Birds. You just watch
No,
birds?
we sit and watch birds. Oh, that looks like a tufted titmouse. Oh, yes, I think it is.
Sure.
And we drink coffee, and then we talk about what the next book might be. And she's my idea person. And then we agree on an idea. I go off and write, and she follows it on a Google Doc and gives me loving but, frankly, brutal feedback in those little bubbles on the Google Doc as I write the whole thing.
Right. Loving but brutal feedback just on the book or basically
In
on
general.
everything? All right, there you go. Well, former director, thank you so much for being here. His book, FDR Drive, is available now. The man is James Comey. We'll be right back with Megan Fahey.